This is your morning in 8 minutes. We want to get you ready to get out the door.
Yeah, in this heat, a lot of us need rain. So, Heather, how much are you adding up in your first alert forecast?
I know I'm one of those that needs it for sure. I will say having that hit or miss pattern I know can be hard. I've heard some rumbles of thunder and then not seen it at my house. So a heads up, kind of circling up that valley here. You can see some of these streaks of a half an inch to an inch in our higher elevations. Then we'll get a couple more tomorrow as well. Still lower amounts southern to central valley, still heavier outlining the valley. But at least as we move forward a few days, even through Saturday when it's a little more widely scattered, notice then we have a few of those spots of that half an inch to an inch in parts of the south to central valley, seeing that around Maryville, Lenoir City. Now it's that hit or miss 1 to 2 inches in areas like parts of Morgan County and Fentress. Claiborne, you could have some isolated 2 to 3 inches along with Bell and Harlan. Hitting some of those spots a half an inch to an inch with isolated higher amounts for those of you in far northeast Tennessee as well in that forecast where you live.
Heather, thanks. This morning, the Knox County Sheriff's Office is still searching for 65-year-old Keith Conley. Yeah,
the TBI issuing a silver alert for him. Deputies say Conley was last spotted at the Weigels off of John Sevier Highway early Friday morning. His loved ones say he was getting bags of ice as he does normally, and since then they haven't heard from him. Investigators now focusing their search around Topside Road and Alcoa Highway. They're using helicopters, ground teams, boats, all to find him. If you have any information on where Conley might be, call the Knox County Sheriff's Office or 1-800-TBI-FIND.
Meanwhile, the search continues this morning for a missing man from Monroe County. The Sheriff's Office there says 31-year-old Jared Keller's car was found in Birmingham, Alabama yesterday. Keller has not been seen since last Wednesday in Tellico Plains. The Sheriff's Office says detectives are working with law enforcement in Alabama to try and find Keller and bring him home safely. If you have any information on where he could be, please call the number inside your WVLT News app. Well, buying fresh tomatoes imported from Mexico could be getting more expensive.
Yeah, but the Trump administration adding a 17% duty on some Mexican tomatoes. But in Granger County, that's a little bit of welcome news, possibly. In fact, the Tomato Festival is back this weekend, and some imported tomatoes can get more expensive because of the tariffs. But now farmers in Granger County say this could shift people to buying their tomatoes. According to the Florida Tomato Exchange, nearly $3 billion worth of tomatoes are brought from Mexico to the U.S. every year, meaning a lot more people could be turning to Granger County tomatoes. Well, a rescissions package slicing $9 billion in funding, some of it for public broadcasting and foreign aid, now on the way to the House.
That's after Republican senators passed it in the early morning hours, 51 to 48. They're trying to meet a deadline tomorrow. Senator Susan Collins and Senator Lisa Murkowski are the only members of the GOP in the chamber who did not support the measure. The House is coming off a late night of its own focused on cryptocurrency legislation. GOP holdouts are why a procedural hurdle last night set a new record for the longest House vote in modern history.
The yeas are recall alert for you this morning. Nearly 700,000 Ford vehicles need a repair. The recall affects certain 2021 to 2024 Bronco Sport and 2020 to 22 Escape models equipped with 1.5-liter engines. Ford says the fuel injectors could crack and leak inside the engine compartment and catch fire. If you have one of the impacted vehicles, you can go to a dealer for a temporary fix. Well, knowing a storm is coming beforehand can often mean the difference between life and death.
Now you can stay more alert with a new weather system that's coming to Tennessee. It's called the Mesonet system. Weather stations across the state will measure and monitor weather events. The state climate office has been working to install the system for the past few years, with Hurricane Helene being the big wake-up call state agencies needed. Experts say it can provide earlier alerts on potentially life-threatening weather. The Mesonet system will have a station in now all 95 counties of Tennessee. It will go online within the next few years. Well, that parking garage we've been telling you about at McGee-Tyson Airport to help you get in and out could take longer to build.
Unfortunately, weather and soil conditions have not been ideal. This as construction begins on the $186 million project. The developers, Gresham Smith, presenting this to the airport authority yesterday. Airport officials say they were aware this might happen, but not to the scale. They also know something about this rock below the surface, but now the developers are finding more of it, causing these delays. Officials at McGee-Tyson say it shouldn't lead to big delays. They're thinking it'll be just a couple of weeks longer than the scheduled opening. That project expected to be complete by 2027. Now, some road work near downtown Knoxville could impact your morning commute soon.
I-275 set to be closed again this weekend. Starting this evening, the ramps to 275 North will be closed for short periods, but then starting at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, 275 will be closed in each direction. It's going to stay closed until 6 o'clock Monday morning. This is the second consecutive weekend closure on 275. They're going to do this for a third time. That's not happening until a weekend later this fall. And with that, we do want to get a check of your first alert traffic with Olivia Calfee.
Yeah, guys, I've been watching this Walker Springs road camera for the last couple of minutes. So you can see that traffic is moving on I-40, but you're getting a pretty good look at the Walker Springs road bridge. There is a pretty large commercial vehicle parked under the bridge on the shoulder in those eastbound lanes. There are a couple of other cars parked there. I've been seeing some people merging on, hitting the brakes. Just a reminder to make sure that you're using caution, being careful. Merchant Drive looks good right now in the north and southbound lanes of 75. Overall, no major issues if you're heading out.
And at 5 to 7, I'm keeping an eye on what could cause some slowdowns. Really, I would say kind of slow down and admire the view right now. Actually seeing that sun peak below the cloud cover now. It's about to hide behind it briefly. That's at least our view from downtown Knoxville. We had these clouds left over from last night, which like a blanket kept us warmer. 76 Knoxville, 78 Oak Ridge, 75 La Follette to 71 Crossville and Middlesboro. After that warm start, it is humid, so we're pumping some moisture into those clouds and popping up some showers. So you can see where it is speckled around parts of Morgan, Anderson, Campbell, Scott, Fentress County, McCurry, Whitley County, as well as Wayne County. I'll keep live tracking those for you over on the CW at 7 if you're not headed out the door. I will say, keep in mind, we have a little extra wind, still plenty of heat, very similar to yesterday, feeling like triple digits. So it starts feeling hotter by 9 a.m. Noon, for example, 87 feels like 95. High today, 94 feels like 101. So staying hydrated and using caution in this heat is the ongoing story. The biggest thing is tracking the rain. Like I said, live tracking it now. A few more storms at times this weekend. So we've got a lot coming up for you at 7 on the CW.
All right, Heather, thank you so much. And coming up at 7, we are talking with Mayor India Kincannon, like we do every month. She's going to be speaking about the impacts of the federal cuts on a project connecting East Knoxville. Join us.